Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. The Earth's inner core reverses while wildfires rage and volcanoes threaten. Unprecedented global crisis. Let's talk about it. In this explosive video, we dive deep into the alarming phenomena shaping our world. From California's Park Fire, one of the largest in state history, scorching an area half the size of Rhode Island, to the intense quarry fire in Colorado, forcing evacuations. Discover the shocking confirmation that Earth's inner core has slowed down so much, scientists say it's reversed. But don't worry, it's a 70-year cycle, they say, allegedly. Could this be the sign of impending global chaos? We also cover the latest on the Svartsengi volcano in Iceland, now on the brink of a major eruption, the dire situation as the Pioneer Fire closes in close to Lake Chelan by a resort out there in Washington. Stay informed, be prepared, not scared, as we unravel these extraordinary events. Hit the bell for all notifications, and let's buckle up, Buttercup. Here we go. Imagine if there was an extended period of time where you couldn't get access to your money in the bank. Your credit cards, your debit cards didn't work. The only thing stores will accept is cash, or gold, or silver. Well, if you've got what's called junk silver, like silver coins, from before the 60s approximately, they're about 90% silver. That's a pretty easy way to exchange monetary value for something. Or if you've got silver bars or silver coins or gold, etc. And gold is hot. Silver is hot. Platinum is hot. Precious metals right now are extremely sought after. And the amount of silver needed for the solar boom, solar panels, especially by 2035, and silver is needed for every solar panel. And so you've got precious metals that are not only being usurped up by big banks, but they're also needed in electronics and cars. And it's always good to diversify. It's always good to be prepared, not scared. Noble Gold Investments is offering Leak Project listeners, if you've got a 401 or IRA and you convert into precious metals through Noble Gold Investments and you qualify, you can get either a 10-ounce solid silver American flag bar, or you can get 10 of these 1-ounce Trump rounds solid silver, and those will be gifted to you at no additional cost. Find out how to qualify. And also, they have great pricing on gold, silver, precious metals. They have free ebooks, how to get out of the rat race. You'll talk to somebody in person that's very knowledgeable and friendly. They'll walk you through the whole process. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Give them a call. You'll thank me later. 1-877-646-5347. All right, let's get back to the podcast. First article here that I'd like to share with you is from CBS News. California's Park Fire, one of the state's largest ever, grows with much warmer and drier weather in the forecast. This is hot off the press. Authorities say a burning car that was pushed into a Northern California gully about a week ago sparked what's now one of the largest wildfires in California state's history. Officials said the Park Fire had grown to over 386,000 acres as of Wednesday morning, making it California's fifth largest in state history. The Cal Fire reported the Park Fire has grown to over 386,764 acres, 18% contained, almost half the size of Rhode Island, 12 times bigger than San Francisco. According to Cal Fire, the Park Fire now ranks between the SCU Lighting Complex fire from 2020 that burned 396,625 acres and the Creek Fire that same year, which burned 379,895 acres. The August Complex Fire, also in 2020, remains the largest in state history with over 1 million acres burned. We've got 4 counties involved here: Butte, Plumas, Shasta, Tehama. They've all been affected by the ongoing Park Fire, with the latter seeing the most burned acreage. 277 structures have been confirmed to have been destroyed, according to officials. And after days of what Cal Fire described as rapid growth, when it exploded to cover tens and then hundreds of thousands of acres, Sunday brought cooler temperatures, which helped reduce some of the fire's extreme behavior, and it allowed first responders to combat the fire outside the national forest lands. However, There's also less smoke on Sunday, causing a warmer climate around the fire, which has led to increased fire activity. Some even say they've seen fire tornadoes. How would you like to be in one of those? No thanks. The weather is expected to become much warmer and drier this week, with some winds and potential for thunderstorms. It is advised to be cautious during this time, CAL FIRE said. Fire crews are providing structured defense where needed. They are attempting to complete containment lines in some areas and gain a stronghold in the challenging topography while also engaging in mop up. The blaze has sparked fire tornadoes, and it's also reached Lassen Volcanic National Park. That park is closed. Staff are scrambling to save historic artifacts stored in the 1927 Loomis Museum, the park said. Get this, the man that's accused of starting the fire, Ronnie Dean Stout II, made his first court appearance Monday. He's being charged with reckless arson, along with several enhancements, CBS Sacramento reports. He didn't enter a plea, no bail was set, and the arraignment was scheduled to continue on Thursday. Court records show that Stout has 2 prior felony convictions from 2001 and 2002. He was released from prison October 2018. Butte County District Attorney Mike Ramsey said this would be Stout's 3rd strike if found the park fire caused serious bodily injury or death. For reckless arson, the upper term is 4 years. With his prior strikes, you can double that, not make it 25 to life, but you can double that, Ramsey said. California has been tagged with some serious fires the past few years, haven't they? Wow, they're going through some stuff. May the force be with you, California. Next article, breaking news, hot off the press, CBS News. Quarry fire in Colorado prompts mandatory evacuations for Deer Creek Mesa, Sampson Road areas, and Jefferson County. Hope you're not having to deal with this right now, folks, but if you are, be prepared, not scared. A mandatory evacuation was underway for Deer Creek Mesa area, as well as Sampson and Maxwell subdivisions, as crews responded to the quarry fire in Jefferson County overnight. In an update early on Wednesday, the new Colorado wildfire was burning an estimated 130 acres, 0% containment. Roughly 575 homes were being evacuated in the respective subdivisions. A multi-agency response was being conducted along West Deer Creek Canyon Road, about 3/4 miles west of Grizzly Drive. That's according to Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. South Valley Park was north of the stretch of road for the fire, and the Deer Creek Mesa area was south. Jefferson County Sheriff's Office spokesman Mark Techmeyer said that the other wildfires currently burning in Colorado have a lot of the wildfire siting resources in use, so they may be out of luck for getting aerial support to help the firefighters who are on the ground trying to control the fire in difficult terrain. Everything's stacked against us, Techmeyer said. Low resources, we've got treacherous terrain, we've got very flammable fuel, but we've got some of the best people in the business on it. You ever been out to Lake Chelan in Washington? Beautiful area, tons of trees out there, lots of forest, and Stalikin out by Lake Chelan is forcing evacuations because of wildfire. The Pioneer wildfire has crept to about 1.5 miles from Stehekin and could advance even closer to the Lake Chelan resort town in the days ahead. As hot, dry weather returns to the area, the interagency team responding to the fire said on Tuesday, but a couple days after authorities in Chelan County issued Stehekin a get out now evacuation notice for the first time in a number of years, many residents are still staying put in the isolated community to protect their homes and support firefighting efforts. Some said a local vacation ranch is hosting and feeding about 200 firefighters. Cooler, damper weather moderated the 33,000-acre Pioneer fire spread Monday and Tuesday, said Lauren DeRocker from the U.S. Forest Service, a spokesperson for the interagency team managing the conflagration. A bit of rain was welcome as the team used helicopters to drop buckets of water around the fire's edge, giving firefighters more time to install community protection measures around Stehekin, including hose lines and sprinklers, she said. Problem is, the blaze is less than 2 miles from Stehekin's boat landing, and we do anticipate the fire activity to pick back up as the weather changes and the environment dries out later this week, DeRocker said. The temperatures could hit 100 degrees in the area by Friday, and the interagency team experts are watching the weather and making plans, DeRocker said. The fire has been scorching the eastern side of Lake Chelan since early June. Firefighters are now clearing vegetation to create a buffer zone between the fire and Stehekin homes, DeRocker said. May the force be with you. Lake Chelan and Stehekin. If you do a Google search, which I would recommend doing your own due diligence on this, reading up on it a bit, type in Earth's core slowing. MSN, 2 out of the 3 first articles that pulls up. Experts confirm the Earth's core has slowed down so much it's now moving backward. Scientists have confirmed a significant reversal in the movement of Earth's core, observing that it has slowed down to the point of moving backward. Then the article below that, the spinning of Earth's inner core is slowing down. Is this how it all ends? Melting ice slows Earth's spin, shifts axis, disrupts timekeeping. Let's look at the most recent article from MSN just 4 days ago. Scientists have confirmed a significant reversal in the movement of Earth's core, observing that it has slowed down to the point of moving backward. The surprising phenomenon marks a crucial development in geophysical research, providing new insights into the dynamic processes of the Earth's center. So get this. Did you know that there was a film that came out in 2003 called The Core? In the film, the rotation of the Earth's center stalls and it damages the magnetic fields surrounding the planet, triggering a violent lightning storm that destroys Rome, invisible microwaves that melt the Golden Gate Bridge. A hotshot crew of scientists burrowed deep into the Earth's layers to jumpstart the core with a nuclear bomb. In the real world, no human could survive the unimaginable heat and bone-crushing pressure, even if there was a vehicle capable of tunneling to the core, Vidal said. It is true that the outer core generates electrical currents that sustain the planet's magnetic field. But Vidal says shifts in the Texas-sized inner core are too minuscule to have an impact. I don't know about that because it seems like the Earth's magnetosphere is much weaker than it was 20, 25, 30 years ago. The sunlight is much more intense. I remember about 10, 12 years ago, sun was so intense that it was causing bridges to melt. It was causing roads to liquefy. All sorts of stuff was taking place 10, 15 years ago in the news. I mean, it's all over the mainstream news. And this was a worldwide phenomenon. Since then, things have slowed down, at least in the news, about what we're being told. But it does seem like the magnetosphere has weakened substantially. And if we can link that to the Earth's inner core, now they go on to say the Earth's inner core does this about every 70 years. They use seismic testing and they use earthquakes to test the inner core. That's how they do it. They obviously can't go down there and see for themselves, so they have to use these sensors and specific technologies and earthquakes and seismograph data. So I'll just read a quick excerpt. Vidal, who is the director of Southern California's Earthquake Center at USC from 2017 to 2018, peered into the planet by tracking seismic waves from quakes occurring off the lower tip of South America. As the waves passed through the heart of the planet, they were recorded on 400 seismometers positioned at the other end of the globe in Alaska and northern Canada. The sensors were the same kind used to measure ground vibrations during nuclear tests. He compared those refined readings to quake signals recorded in the past years to see where they matched. That's how he determined that the rotation has been decreasing since 2010. Prior to that, the core's spin was accelerating. The findings add to the mystique of the most inscrutable part of our world, Vidal said. Literature and lore involving Earth's core have filled the knowledge void with all sorts of fanciful ideas. He goes on to say, I'm not such a philosopher, but we've all had nightmares of what's going on down in the planet, Vidal said. Just a couple hundred years ago, people thought the planet was hollow. They still do. And that there were people living down there. It's pretty exotic like Jupiter, but it's just right under our feet. Now, there's an 1864 science fiction classic, Journey to the Center of the Earth. A German professor, his nephew, and their guide descend into the planet through a volcano in Iceland, encountering caverns, a subterranean ocean, dinosaurs, sea creatures of exotic origins, even a prehistoric giant herding mastodons. Then they're spat out through a volcano off the coast of Sicily. So what is increasingly clear is the inner core is susceptible in different ways to activity in the layers of Earth that encircle it. The mechanics are that the outer core is circulating and making a magnetic field. So it's kind of pulling the inner core back and forth, Vidal says. Another player in the endless tug of war taking place inside the planet is lower level of the planet's mantle, whose mix of hard and less dense matter results in its own peculiar magnetic pull. We sort of think that the outer core is stirring up the inner core, but the mantle is trying to keep it aligned. Maybe that's why it's oscillating. The latest discoveries about the inner core have fueled vigorous disagreements among the world's top Earth scientists and given rise to competing theories of varying credibility. Vidal says some don't believe the core turns at all. Some insist that forces on the surface, such as quakes, briefly alter the rotation. So we'll keep you posted on that. And then the Schwarzenegger volcano update, hot off the press. Yesterday morning, an increased microseismic activity was detected within the Sundkner crater. The activity taking place about 50 minutes suggests rising pressure within the magmatic system. Over the past 2 weeks, the daily number of earthquakes has been increasing. Model calculations of volume change indicate the sufficient magma has recharged the magma chamber underneath to trigger a new event, with an increased likelihood of this occurring within the next 7 to 10 days. Geodetic measurements show a slight decrease in the rate of uplift over the past few days. This development coinciding with the earthquake activity measured yesterday in the Sundkner crater row may indicate that dike propagation and eruption are imminent. Ooh, there you go. I wonder if that's the volcano that goes to the inner Earth. Hello, and it'll just shoot you out over in Italy, so you can go watch the Giro d'Italia on the way back. Do it, make it a vacation. Check out some dinosaurs and giants on the inner Earth, and then get shot out through Sicily. And then I wanted to look at this real quick. This is just the latest updates. The Biscuit Basin is still closed for the remainder of summer, and this is due to a hydrothermal explosion that was about a week ago. So the Grand Loop Road remains closed to vehicles. Here's an image. You can see the aftermath. Pretty intense. What happened? July 23rd, 2024. Hydrothermal explosion at Biscuit Basin resulted from water suddenly transitioning to steam in the shallow hydrothermal system beneath Black Diamond Pool and was not caused by volcanic activity. Seismicity, ground deformation, and gas and thermal emissions remain at the normal background levels. Good news. There was no detectable precursors to this event. The explosion, which sent steam and debris to a height of hundreds of feet above the ground, destroyed a nearby boardwalk, ejecting grapefruit-sized rocks tens of hundreds of feet from the source. Some blocks closest to the explosion site are about 3 feet wide, weighing hundreds of pounds. The explosion was largely detected by the northeast towards the Firehole River, and the largest blocks of debris fell in that direction. The dark color of the explosion was a result of mud and debris mixed with steam and boiling water. Although visitors were present at the time of the event, no injuries were reported. That's wonderful. Black Diamond Pool and Black Opal Pool were affected by Tuesday's explosion. While they remain distinct features, the shape of Black Diamond has changed. Both pools are murky due to debris, and the unstable ground around their edges occasionally slides into the water just after the eruption. Black Diamond Pool exhibited minor rolling and water spouting. The water level in the pool rose over the course of the day, and by Tuesday afternoon, the roiling transitioned to occasional bursts of hot water that reached about 8 feet in height. So what's happening now? Well, since Wednesday morning, July 24th, the level of Black Diamond Pool and Black Opal Pool had risen enough that both were overflowing and sending murky water into the Firehole River. No water bursts from Black Diamond Pool were witnessed Wednesday morning. Given the recent changes to the hydrothermal plumbing system, small explosions of boiling water from this area in Biscuit Basin continue to be possible over the coming days or months. USGS and NPS geologists will be monitoring conditions, mapping the debris fields, and sampling water to assess any changes in the shallow hydrothermal system over the next several days. Hydrothermal explosions typically occur in the park 1 to a few times per year, but often in the backcountry where they may not immediately be detected. Tell you what, let's hope that this is, if the Yellowstone volcano erupts, ooh, buddy. Oh yeah, and did you know that around Mount St. Helens, there has been hundreds of earthquakes reported, way above the norm. Interesting how they haven't updated this in a month also, because a month ago, they were talking about this, a month and a half ago now. We're going back to like June 18th. Look at this. Over the past several months, small magnitude earthquakes have been located at Mount St. Helens. The seismicity is similar to what was observed at this volcano from July to December 2023, which had heightened EQ activity. No significant changes have been observed in the monitoring parameters, and there is no change in alert levels at this time. Mount St. Helens remains at normal background levels of activity, except for the amount of earthquakes. Oh, man. Here's the earthquake density and depths since 1987. Volcanic hazards at Mount St. Helens. Mount St. Helens' high frequency of eruptions during the recent geological past and its 2 eruptive episodes of the past 3 decades indicate a high probability of renewed eruptive activity. And of course, I'm sure you saw this article. Mount Rainier keeps scientists up at night. Mount Rainier. Mount Rainier, a snow-capped volcano in Washington that's covered in ice and snow, is a concern for scientists because of the potential for lahars and other hazards. So lahars are these fast-moving mud flows that are created when an eruption melts snow and ice. They pick up debris along the way. It kind of turns into concrete, like rolling concrete. And there are thousands of people within potential lahar zones. And there are thousands of houses built on top of these ancient lahars and lava flows. And Mount Rainier has about 8 times as much snow and glaciers as the Nevado del Ruiz, which could lead to a much more catastrophic mud flow. It's listed as a decade volcano, which means it has a high likelihood of causing loss of life and property if it erupts. The volcano's steep slopes and abundant water also make it prone to landslides. I used to live in the Northwest, and with this weird activity with the Earth's core, and it looks like there's an increased activity in the volcanoes in certain areas. Be prepared, not scared, right? And thanks a lot for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day. Hit that bell for all notifications. Be well.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Be the change you want to see.
Real quick, check us out over on Patreon. Why? Because I have hundreds of hours of exclusive content, ad-free, uncensored, unedited, stuff that we can only talk about on Patreon, beyond the cutting edge, and you'll get access to it for only $1 a month. And if there's an interview that you want me to do, a guest that you want me to get on the show, or a topic that you want me to discuss, if you leave a comment over on Patreon, I'll do my best to get that guest on the podcast or that subject. And I'll even do my best to get back to you here on YouTube. And your contributions greatly help the project. So check us out over on Patreon, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel here and hit the bell for all notifications, and check back daily for new podcasts, because we upload podcasts pretty much every single day. And has anyone told you today that you're awesome? Because you are.